we got you.
We know a guy. I actually have been here, bro. I forgot about this. It looks so different today. I fucking lit up a blunt in that back corner.
Dude, like
after a game.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
But it's tough to know sometimes because it doesn't look like this. I kind of get freaked out. I get a little weird being here, dead sober in the daylight.
Yeah.
It's almost like seeing your teacher like out of school.
Exactly, bro.
Like I don't like it.
What the fuck is going on here? Where am I?
We're live right now at 511 Franklin. Speaking of, so. And a lot of people might not even know where we're at that have been here, like our guests here. And today we have a very special guest. I was thinking about it, the biggest guest we've ever had, quite literally.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
By far the biggest, I would say. Yeah, I think. I don't know, but yeah, at least size-wise overall.
And personality-wise.
And personality. And also accolades. I was going to say, do you just say the Super Bowl thing right off the jump? Is that
Never.
like...
No. Well, like, people always ask you, like, do you wear your Super Bowl ring? It's like, I wear it once a year on the day of the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, other than that, I feel like, no offense to all my fellow Super Bowl champions out there, but, like, you're kind of a loser if you wear your Super Bowl ring out. That's
why I don't wear mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's a humble thing. I don't know. So we have Beau Allen today, a guy that I'm pumped to have on because we also, Fax And The King, we got a shout out.
Got to shout out Fax And The King podcast I've been working on. Appreciate the cross-pod pollination or whatever you want to call it.
Shout out Nate as well, bigger. We got to shout him out.
Yeah, love Nate Collins is Dr. Fax. Do a show with him, and we actually released a good one yesterday. Cam Brate comes on every now and then. My Tampa Bay Bucks friend, I pretty much just bullied him into a regular segment on the show.
That's how you got to do it.
That's how you got to do it.
People don't realize podcasting is just bullying your friends.
Exactly.
That's it. Like,
help me come up with content, man. I fucking need you. I got nothing this week.
And they're like, dude, I'm busy. It's like, all right, man, tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's podcasting.
Exactly.
That's really the whole game. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's how I got Beau. I'm like, bro, we got to come on. He's like, I'm sick. I'm like, what about tomorrow?
I'm in. I'm there.
And eventually, you just wear your friends down enough that they just give up and they come on.
Exactly.
So here we are. And I'm happy to have you on. This is a cool location, too. Shout out to 511. I think we might be doing more here, too, because it's like I have this little studio set up in my apartment, but it's like, it just feels janky.
It's vibey. It's fun. I do my podcast out of like my gaming, my gaming PC in my loft in my house, and this is a lot more fun. So
it's just nice. And also we got to shout out Ball and Buck. Beau was just telling me before the cameras rolled, he's like, dude, what are you wearing? You look phenomenal.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And I actually get the pants on today too. Whoa, we almost took the whole setup down. That would have been a crazy start to this podcast, but that's worth it because we got to get the pants in. These are for out in the field. You know, we got to get you some. I don't know if they have. Dude, those are nice.
Yeah, I'm half.
I like those shoes too.
A little trekking. Thanks, dude.
What are those?
Just gassing each other up. Some little dunk lows. See, I buy these nice shoes and then destroy them. I see you're kind of on the same. Yeah, it's a destroyed look. It's in. It's like Derelict from Zoolander.
It's a lot like Derelict. What is it? Derelict my ball sack, dude. That's what. But yeah, so we get the Ball and Buck on. Shout out to them. We're gonna get you some. The big boy size.
Hell yeah.
So this is another admission I got to tell you. If you're watching this right now, this is the Beau cam.
Oh.
But if you're watching on this cam, I have to admit, dude, I sandbagged you with the chair straight up.
That's all right, man.
So before the guy that with Carl, he's like, you can adjust these chairs. I'm like, all right, dude, he's going to sit there. Let's put his chair low as shit. And I'm going to put mine big.
Hey, I'm nice and comfortable, man. I'm a low rider. I'm cool with it.
What's it like being a big boy, dude? It's got to be nice, man.
It's been fun, man. Believe it or not, I've actually lost like 55, 60 pounds since I was playing. Yeah, so this is like the lightest I've been since probably like literally my freshman or sophomore year of high school.
Which is what, in Minnesota?
Yeah, in Minnesota, yeah. Hey, you did your research, man. Let's
go. Come on, dude. You think I don't do my research? Like, so we get Super Bowl champion on the pod. Like, what do you mean?
I love it. So today I weighed in. I'm in a little bulking phase right now. I'm doing this thing called Squat-tober.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm a meathead, and today I was 279.8 this morning, walking around like 282. But when I was playing for the Bucks, I was probably like 325 to 330, and then when I was playing in Philly, which is the team I was with before Tampa Bay, I was like 335 to 340. So,
God damn.
You know, it used to be a lot bigger, but.
So do you feel dainty now?
I feel dainty, man.
Like a little ballerina.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little guy. I'm just a little guy.
What's it like when you're like 330? Like, can you feel the difference between 300 and 330?
Yeah, man. It's just, I mean, you just have so much more energy when you lose that weight and like feel good. Like you have a lot more energy to do things. Like when you're playing, obviously like your biggest priority in life is football practice and like performing on the field. And you get home and you don't have energy to do shit. It's 10 toes up, like watching a show on the couch before like, going to bed. Like you're not like active all day and stuff like that. So it's been fun for me to kind of explore retired life, like losing weight, have a lot more energy and like energy to just do shit. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's interesting you say that because I want to talk more football, but just off the jump, I feel like just from Instagram, from seeing, you're kind of a renaissance man now.
Dude, I've been kind of doing a lot of things. So that's kind of what's tough as an athlete, man. You dedicate your whole life to a sport or an endeavor that is, that it's not going to last forever. And for me, it's been interesting to talk to some of my friends who have recently retired. But for me, it's like I could never focus on my life after football while I was playing because you just had to take it one day at a time. Like, dude, like I said, I'm a nose guard, so I'm like used to dealing with shit that's right in front of my face.
Yeah. In the shit.
Yeah, man.
In the trenches.
So like I wasn't really too where I was like, oh fuck it, I'll worry about like what I'm doing after football, like when my career is over. And then you wake up one day and you're like, oh fuck, like I'm done playing.
Yeah, and I feel like also to that point, when you're in it, it serves you best to not think about after.
Yeah,
because that motivates you more, probably.
Yeah,
right?
I mean everyone's different, but for me, like I just feel like I had to take it one day at a time, one season at a time, and that kind of thing, and then you worry about it after. So yeah, I'm doing a bunch of different shit, man. I'm trying to catch up on lost time with friends and family, and my family's all up in Minnesota. So I travel up to Minnesota a lot. I'm actually doing a home renovation project up there that I'm really excited about. Yeah, so finally getting going on that, and then doing a lot of travel. I finished up my undergrad degree in August.
Dude,
so
they give you, I feel like
12 years later, man.
They're giving you a lot of heat for that, dude.
Dude, fuck it, man. It's going back to school sucks. Like I left with one semester, 12 credits. I went to University of Wisconsin, and I was in the business school up there, and then I was gone for so long that like they changed the graduation requirements. So I left with 12 credits. I came back with 19. So
no way.
It was so fucking annoying, bro. So I was chipping away at it. I was in all these like online courses with like 20, 22-year-olds. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
Yeah. Do you have to present and stuff?
Yeah. But I changed my major to HR because it was like the most convenient path to completion. Like they had the most transferable classes, the most courses available online, and so like I'm in all these like classes online with a lot of like I was like one of two guys, a lot of and a lot of these women that were in the class were like HR reps, like going back to get this specific certification. They'd be like asking you very specific questions to talk about like your job experience or like a time when like like different HR stuff, like a time when someone was inappropriate at the workplace and like how was it handled. In my head I'm like, guys, I was in a fucking locker room my whole life.
I was naked with my whole coworkers.
Like, the worst, like we're just chopping it up, like swearing every other word, very confrontational conversations, like on and off the field, if you have beef with a guy or if a guy like fucks up a play and like fucks you over. So it was just funny, like an interesting juxtaposition between like, office HR world and then like, my experience as a NFL defensive lineman. And it was kind of a stark reality check for me a little bit. Like, hey, the real world is not like the locker room, man. Like, no. You better learn that quickly.
In the HR pecking order of the NFL locker room, though, I feel like nose tackle's got to be about as high on the totem pole of like, no one messes with you, right?
Well, I'm biased, obviously, but yeah, I think the D-line usually can set the tempo for the locker room. At least in my experience, like any good NFL team usually has like some pretty outspoken vocal leaders on the offensive or defensive line. So, I mean, we were talking about Sue a little bit earlier. Like, that's a guy, he's not necessarily as outspoken. Like, he's kind of soft-spoken, but
he doesn't need to speak.
Exactly. So, it's just interesting to see, how the locker room and stuff like that, like what I've been used to, like those habits and stuff like that, or like conversations you have with people might not be the best in a real working environment, basically.
Well, it's probably tough too because in every environment that you go into, I interviewed Tyron Woodley. You know that is the big like UFC fighter. He's UFC sick. World champion. And I was talking to him too about it's like guys like him who he fights for a living, or like you where you're basically doing a form of fighting, like
it's more like wrestling.
Yeah, every snap. It's like I feel like it's almost tough because every situation you're in life, if some guy's like being rude or some sort of thing, it's like you have to refrain in every single interaction because you could pick any person up and like
and it's just not worth it, man. I'm sure I think it's a lot different for UFC fighters. I got a couple of buddies that are Bellator guys and MMA guys, and it's like, guys, I don't know. People always fuck with them. It's like, what are you doing?
They do.
What are you doing, man?
They do. I know what you mean.
Barking up the wrong tree, man.
Because I think to them, they're like, oh, what's the worst thing that happens if he punches me? I got punched by a UFC champion. Like, they think that it's awesome or something.
Everyone wants the clout, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you don't really want that smoke, I promise.
No, you don't. I remember the first time I was with Pat Maroon, another giant human.
Yeah.
When I met you at, I think it was TB12's old house.
Yeah, that was a fun night, man. It was after one of the big playoff wins for the
Yeah, it was the
Lightning.
Eastern Conference Final,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like we were over at Anchor Bar.
Yep.
And
a place to rig. I feel like now that Pat's gone, I don't know how they're in business anymore.
Oh man,
Anchor Bar's got to be hurting financially now.
That was a fun night though.
But I just remember when we got home. Obviously, Big Rig, he's cooking up pizza rolls. This guy will put 100 pizza rolls on.
Hey, I'm right there.
I guess you're right there.
Yeah.
But we were sitting there eating them, and I remember just sitting there. I was like, bro, I can't believe anybody blocks that guy. That's what I was saying because, like, seeing. You can watch, dude, I watch NFL my whole life, but seeing it in real life, I think the size, like the magnitude of like offensive, defensive linemen is like, it's like that with NBA players too.
Yeah.
You
don't realize how big they are until you're sitting courtside or whatever. You meet one of them in person, you shake their hand or whatever, and it's like, holy fuck, man.
It's not even just height, it's like width.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy, man. I think that people don't understand kind of like the magnitude of like, it's just not 330 pounds athletically is not a real human.
Big boy. It was a big boy, man. We'll get back there someday, maybe.
You think?
No, fuck no.
You feel like when you wake up, you got to feel way better now.
I feel a lot better. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm doing this Squat-tober shit, man, and it's basically what it is. It's this Sorinex is this weightlifting company, and they put these programs out, and you just squat 5 days a week for the entire month of Squat-tober. So we got Thursday, Friday, then Monday, Tuesday, and Squat-tober's over. But it's been fun to do. But besides that, I mean, like I said, man, I got a lot more energy and. Football takes a toll on your body, man. Like over cumulatively and over the course of a season, like you just get beat up. So it's nice to not have those collisions every day, basically.
You think your body's like slowly getting a little more like kind of rubbering back to like where it was before?
Slowly, yeah. We're getting back there, man. I mean, I've had my fair share of injuries and career-ending injury basically when I was in New England, which is never fun. But this shit takes time, man. Your body takes time to heal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been feeling good, man. Been working out a lot, and it's a big priority of mine. You get your body, like as an athlete, you kind of get so used to being so active, like, and when you're not forced to do that, like at practice or like you're forced to go to workouts, like it's just interesting. Like you kind of have to go do it on your own, and
it's a different dynamic.
Exactly.
If you're doing it on your own, you're kind of just like the fire is different. You know what I mean? Because I noticed that I played hockey in college, D3, but it's like you just miss being around the boys. And like it's different when you work out with 20 of your friends and the music's going and you're like, you go to work out at a gym and it's like, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to find different, goals. And, I'm pretty goal-oriented and shit like that, especially athletically, obviously, just because of my background. So you got to find different things to, get your juices flowing, really.
So when was the first time, like you said, you grew up in Minnesota and stuff, when was the first time that there was a thought in your head like, dude, I might go to the NFL?
Bro, I never thought I'd play in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I went to Wisconsin, and we had Brett Bielema as our head coach for the first 3 years of my career, and I really liked Coach Bielema. He was good to me, but he ended up leaving to go to Arkansas before my senior year. He actually left before we won the Big Ten that year, and we went to the Rose Bowl, and this was before like the college football playoff and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we had a good year, and then he kind of left, and it was a big surprise for everybody. And we got a new coaching staff, and dude, I was going to be a late round pick, so I honestly didn't really I thought it was going to be a long shot, but I never really had I always wanted to do everything I could to play in the NFL, but I never thought it was like a lock or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so that's actually why I dropped out of school. Like I said, I had 1 semester left, and I was like, okay, if I want to do this, like I can't be chasing 2 rabbits. Like I'm not going to do school and training, especially in Madison, like where I went to college.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to be distracted by all my friends or like
at the KK.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shout out to the college club.
Yeah.
I spent a few nights there too. That's talking about a distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
So I wanted to, really train and try to prepare for it, and thankfully got selected in the 7th round to the Eagles. And I think my first couple years in the NFL, man, I thought every day when you're a late round pick, man, you really have a chip on your shoulder, and you really feel like you make one mistake, and you're, or like you have a stretch of a couple bad games, like you're like, fuck, I'm fucked. Like I could get cut tomorrow.
Really?
You know what I mean? That's kind of how I always approached it. You just feel like you don't have a lot of job security. So I don't think it was until I signed, or maybe like my third or fourth year where I was playing well and a little more established, where I was like, okay, like I could, you know, make some
start
out
to
of this.
settle in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And
was Fletcher Cox there when you were there?
Yes, sir.
So
Fletcher Cox.
is that who you were working
Big
with
Cox.
a lot of times?
Yeah, Fletch, and we had a really good D-line. A couple of those guys are actually still there. So I think from when I played, I got to think, on the defensive line, Fletcher Cox still there. He's got to be in year like 11. I'll look it up. But Brandon Graham and then Derek Barnett are kind of the holdovers from when I was there. Then, like, you know, I'm really good friends with Jason Kelce, who's an offensive lineman. Lane Johnson's there. So there's still, you know.
Tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Lane Johnson's a
fucking great player. There's still a pretty good amount of guys from when I was in Philly that are there. But we had a good team. My last year there, we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In my home state of Minnesota, which is awesome.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I never thought that would work out.
You can't script that, bro. Like when you went into that year and it's in Minnesota, you kind of had to know, okay, like we have a good team. Like, was that in your head or no?
Actually, like, I honestly no. Like, I've been asked that question before, and you see where the Super Bowl is, and you're like, oh shit, it's in Minnesota. It'd be awesome to play in it. But like, you know, you have your sights set on a little bit. But like I said, you're so focused on the activities of the day, or you know, practice that day, or getting through fall camp, or preparing for the upcoming opponent on Sunday, that like you kind of. It's hard to see, you know, the forest through the trees a little bit.
Right. It's a long season, too.
Yeah, so you think, like, oh, that'd be fucking awesome. And then when we got later and later in the year and it became more of a reality, it's like, oh, fuck, like, let's try not to think about this too much. Like, I don't want to jinx it or anything. And obviously it worked out really well. We ended up winning that game. But, like, I didn't even think we were going to win that game when we were we were playing it. You know what I mean?
Wait, so back up, though. Were you a Vikings fan growing up?
No, I was actually a Packers fan growing up. So
really?
Yeah, my mom's from Wisconsin, and her side of the family is from Wisconsin. My dad's from Minnesota, and his side of the family is from Minnesota. And I have a cabin in northern Wisconsin. But I was always really close with my mom's, you know, siblings, like my aunts and uncles and my cousins on that side of the family. They kind of convinced me to be a Packers fan.
It's more fun to be a Packers fan anyways,
I love Lambeau Field when I was growing up. Like, my dad took me to I think a Sunday night football game at Lambeau Field. I must have been like 12 or 13 years old. I love Brett Favre. So I was a Packers fan growing up, but like, I don't know. I root for the Vikes now. They had a big win this week.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask that year the Minnesota Miracle or whatever that was.
The Minneapolis Miracle.
Minneapolis Miracle. You guys like stomped their dreams out a week later.
We beat the fuck out of the Vikings. Yeah. So that was in that was the NFC Championship game in Philly,
right? Yeah.
And that was probably like. You know, it's fun to reflect on your career when you're done playing. Like, you don't really do it as much while you're playing. But that was probably the best game day atmosphere that I've been a part of, especially at the Link. Like, it was so loud, and, you know, everyone was, like, all the Eagles fans. Like, I love Eagles fans. And
they're crazy.
They're kind of polarizing, yeah. But, like, when you're playing for the team and you're in the NFC Championship and they're fucking, you know, cheering for you so loud, they feel like they die for you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you love
I mean,
it. It's hard to
they
not love
would
that.
die. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't think that's even a question. Eagles fans would die for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that are from Philly, like chicks that barely even watch football, that would like die for the Eagles. I actually don't even understand it. Like, I respect
It's a
Philly.
football city, man. Go Birds. I don't know.
But they're
about it.
actually maybe the craziest fans. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who's crazier than that. But
Bills fans are up there, I think.
they're up there for sure.
Yeah,
but Philly has this, like, Bills fans to me are almost nice. Like, they're diehard, but they're like friendly.
Yeah.
Eagles fans would like stab you with a rusty knife.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell all my boys from Minnesota. A lot of them were coming to the Vikings game when we played in that NFC Championship, and they're like kind of shit talking, and like there's this funny video of like a group of Vikings fans going to the Rocky statue in Philly and like chanting "Skull." And I'm like, yo, you guys, like, be careful. Like, just so you know, like, you don't know what the fuck you're about to get into. Because everyone in Minnesota is, like, kind of nice and passive-aggressive, which is, like, the opposite of people in Philly. Like, pretty confrontational and outspoken.
I would say, like, yo, fuck you, dude. Just like, punch someone in the face. Like, no, Boston, I would say. I forgot to say.
Yeah.
So I'm from St. Louis, and I was in the Stanley. Like, we were there when the Stanley Cup Blues were playing them. I was just wearing a Blues jacket.
Yeah.
People were throwing beers. On my life, dude. I'm not lying to you. I was walking down the street, didn't say a word to them. Yeah. Just smoking me with beers, trying to fight me. I didn't say a word. Yeah. Boston fans are, I would put them in Philly as the most toxic, crazy people.
Well, my rookie year in Philly, I think we were playing the Redskins at the time, the Commanders. It was like my first game that it was like our first home game. I was going to play a lot. Like my family came to the game. My like sisters at the time, she was probably like, maybe in high school or like senior high school or whatever, and my whole family's in there. There's like a fight right in front of them. My hair's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
So I mean, I love it. Like,
dude, why do people fight at NFL games, man?
Stupid. There's been a lot of that this year.
A lot, dude.
Yeah, I think people are just looking for an outlet, man. I don't know.
I think they just watch like you guys like in the trenches, and they watch people getting blown up, and something about it just gets you like
the blood hot. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't get that. I want to go and watch and just like have fun.
Have some beers and chill and enjoy it. Yeah. Man, you know, you don't need to get involved.
Fighting that dude. You know what? When I was at the Stanley Cup game in Boston, we're in the 300 section because the seats were like, even for that was like $2-3 grand.
Yeah.
Bruins fans were fighting other Bruins fans. Like they got scored on and someone was too negative and the other one was like, don't be fucking negative. And then they just start fighting in the 300s. I'm like, and then they got kicked out. You paid $2,000 for a game and you got kicked out. That's crazy. It's a damn
shame, man.
Crazy. So your boys from Minnesota must have hated you that year.
I've been shit talking them about that game for years. Yeah.
I mean that was like the Vikings fans were like, that was the promised land. Like it was in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, and they had a good team, the Minneapolis Miracle, and then came to Philly, and it was all over.
What was that like? Because obviously you're on defense, and I feel like a lot of times it almost feels like defense and offense are two different teams, like on a team.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we actually had a really tight-knit team that year, which I think is like, obviously when you're winning, it kind of fixes any sort of, problems you have in the locker room. Yeah. Or like, teams are a lot more tight-knit, when you're successful. It's just kind of the nature of it. But we had a good team. I think the way it kind of worked in my experience is like the O-line always hangs out together, you know what I mean? And like O-line, tight ends, quarterback, always boys, and then like the wide receivers and DBs kind of hang out with themselves, and then the D-line and linebackers, like the front seven kind of sticks together on both sides of the ball, Yeah. But I mean, everywhere I've been, like even in Tampa, I loved our locker room. Even when we were bad, like I signed after that Super Bowl season, came down here to Tampa in 2018, and like we actually had a really good locker room too, and we were fucking horrible, So like sometimes a bad team can even, or like a bad season can even like galvanize the locker room, because like
you're almost like fucked.
You don't have shit else, man. It's like we're fucking losing. Like the boys, this is all we got. So
especially in the NFL where the media is so crazy and everyone from outside shitting on you, and you're just like, whatever, dude. At least we're like, you know what I mean? You're like, fuck it. All we got is each other, and you're going through it together.
Exactly. It's like shared misery.
But what was that like going from like the whole Foles and like Wentz thing that year? Like, because you guys were so good, and then that low of like your franchise guy gets hurt.
Right. I mean, it was definitely. It's tough, man. It's a hard thing because injuries are just a part of the game, and you have them every year. And but to have your star, your MVP quarterback get hurt like that after, like when you're so successful, it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And thankfully it worked out so well with Nick, and he's an unbelievable guy too, like super good guy. Like it's not a surprise to me like how well he played, just because of the way he is and his persona and how he goes about his business and stuff like that. But it was, there was, after Carson went down that year, it's like you're just kind of like, fuck, you know what I mean?
Like when you get home that day, are you like talking, you're like, dude, we might be fucked?
I mean, you're kind of not saying it out loud, but you're thinking it, or like you're just kind of saying it quietly to like your closest buddies. And but like
one thing though, Beau, I want to get your perspective, because what you just said is interesting to me, because I think people don't really realize that sometimes, or they think, oh, I bet you they're saying this or that. But like, when the coach comes out, like when Rodgers goes down, and then they're like, oh, Zach's our guy, like he's going to be just as good. Like they're saying that. But like, so one of my best friends, well, I can't even say who it is because now I'm going to out him. But I guess like one of my buddies plays in the NHL, and he'll tell me like right after the game, like if I'm not going to say who got hurt, but he's like, we're fucked. Like I feel like people don't think you guys actually say that, but you're reading the media stuff. You're seeing it just as much as anyone else.
Well, it's a weird thing because like sometimes, you're reading everything, and then sometimes you're like, fuck this. Like I'm tuned out of the media. You know what I mean? Especially in like Philly is a big media market. So like sometimes you don't want to know what people are saying. You know what I mean? So it's like a weird double-edged sword. You know, like sometimes you're really tuned in, like reading everything, and sometimes you're like, fuck this. Like they don't have no idea what they're talking about. You know?
Would you read stuff about yourself?
You try not to, you know what I mean? Because it's just infuriating sometimes, or like, you know, like especially when people comment on your play and they don't really know like what you're being asked to do, or I'm sorry to say this, but like the average football fan doesn't know shit about football.
Oh yeah,
you know, or like technique and stuff like that. So guys are, you know, I think some guys like will read everything that's written about them, but I always try not to. But you can't really avoid it. You're getting tagged and shit on like you know, you have a bad game, you like log into your Twitter and you're just getting roasted by fans. It's like it's kind of hard to avoid.
Or they hit you in the DMs, dude. It's like sometimes I would stop looking at Twitter, just even like at Barca when people were bagging me. I just stopped looking at Twitter, and then I'm like on Instagram DM. Someone's like, "Fuck you!" I'm like, "God damn, bro! I didn't even." Or they'll hit you in places you didn't even remember you had an account, and then you see the thing. I logged into like some shit like YouTube or something. Like it was from like 3 months before, but I was like, I didn't even know how they found this.
I'm
like, give me a break, bro. You know
Leave me alone, man.
I think it's interesting too, just from athletes. Like when I was at Barcelona, we'd get shit on for like. There's a lot of toxic like culture with like that's just internet shit, but like a lot of that would be about a video you made or something you said. Like with football or like with sports, you want to do good. Like I don't. This is what I don't understand is sometimes fans will be like, they're like, fuck Beau Allen or something. You're like, bro, if I could get a sack every snap, I would.
I'm fucking out here grinding my ass off against these double teams, bro. You think I want a clean stat sheet?
Trying as hard as you can.
Yeah, like I promise you, I'm giving you everything I got. You know,
and like it's like maybe if you were making $30 million a year and had a guaranteed deal and were lazy, maybe I could see in a situation where they're like, he's not trying, but 99% of guys are going as hard as they can.
Yeah. Well, the fans are invested too. You know, I think that's what I always try to think back on is like these people are, you know, ultimately like they're supporting us, and sometimes it's misguided and it manifests itself in, you know, kind of shit talk and what you're saying. But ultimately, it's important to remember like these are people that just want you to put a good product on the field, you know, so you try not to get too frustrated with it, but sometimes it drives you fucking crazy.
The thing and then I don't want to just harp on it, but the last thing that pissed me off is when fans are booing a lot of times. Like I remember when the Blues won the cup, dude, they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. I think it was Western Conference Finals or the semi. I was at Game 6, they were losing. They ended up winning in Game 7. The fans were rampantly booing them at the end of the second period.
Crazy.
They ended up winning the cup, and the series wasn't even over. And to me, I'm like, I just don't see who that helps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like whenever you get booed at home, you look around, you're like, guys, like, can you fucking help us out here? Like, give us some crowd noise on third down. You know what I mean?
And
like,
to me, I'm not a player, but if I was them, I'd be like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how does that help? All it does is make people stressed, and like, I just think, I don't know. And
there's nothing
get
worse than getting booed at home, man. It's the worst feeling.
Like a part of you is like, bro, shut the, like, I don't know. I think that's one thing where fans are like, it'll fire the players up. I'm like, I don't think that's the reaction it has.
I don't think so.
But it's just like in sports. And Philly is a place where like you're gonna get booed if you don't. You know what I mean?
If you don't perform well, you're gonna get booed. Yeah, and it's a tough place to play. Like they'll boo specific players, or if you're a guy where like you have a bad season and you're a high draft pick and you get booed, and then you go somewhere else, like come back and you'll get booed.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, they know.
But on the other side, you know, Nick Foles, like he signed in other teams, like he was in Jacksonville or Chicago. When he came to Philly, like he's getting cheered. He's getting, you know, everyone's going crazy for him. So you know, there's two sides of it.
They got a statue, don't they?
They got a fucking statue for Big Dick Nick, man.
Yo, how many people of your boys were like, yo, how big's his dick actually?
Everybody.
Did you ever tell him?
He's got. Hey, all I'm gonna say is that nickname doesn't come from nowhere. Okay.
Dude, like I don't even know. Did it start from just people saying it, or was there was an actual reports of it?
I feel like that. I mean, that nickname's been around for a while. Yeah, let's just say that.
The first time you saw him in the locker room, were you like, "Yo, I wonder if like this guy's like were you kind of wondering?"
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one, man.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's the only place pro sports where someone can ask you your coworker's dick size. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough. You know what's funny though? Because I've told girls, it's like they're like, "Oh, you know someone's dick." I'm like, bro, I've been playing hockey since I was 2 years old. I've seen more dicks than any girl you could ever meet.
It's the best part of the game, man.
I could even tell you right now, a guy I played with 7 years ago, I know exactly. Like, I'm not remembering, but if you asked me, I'd be like, nah, he wasn't passing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of know.
The scouting report. Yeah, I mean, you know.
I'm not saying it's like in my journal at home. I'm just saying people are like, yo, what are you looking at him? I'm like, no, you just see it, dude. That's just being a dude.
Part of the game, part of the locker room.
That's just being a dude, man.
It's just one of the perks.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's beautiful in the way that I have friends that didn't really play a lot of like different sports, and I'll just be like changing, like talking to them. They're like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you? Once you become an animal like that, you can never not be like that.
Fuck it.
You know?
I just don't think too hard about it.
I'd walk naked down the street right now, dude.
Prove it.
I will right now. I'm not kidding. Like, the thing to me is like, once you've been in enough locker rooms, like, dude, everyone looks the same naked. Who cares, bro?
Yeah. See, this is the kind of HR conversation that I was trying to have in my class that they just weren't going for, you know?
Dude, HR, like, they need to get, I think more people should spend time in locker rooms, and HR wouldn't be as big of a problem.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just institute the locker room culture into like your office setting, you know? I think it'll be perfect.
I mean, kind of. I feel like it's, I don't know. But so anyways, you leave Philly as a champion.
Yep.
Go to Tampa. So wait, TB12 was what? He was there the year after you left?
Years after me. So Tom signed down in Tampa, and I after 2019 season, and then I actually signed up in New England.
Yeah, and what was so what was that like, Belichick life?
I liked it. I mean, it was just such a weird year, man. Like
So it was a COVID year, right?
It was COVID year, yeah. So I signed in New England after the 29, like in 2020 offseason. Like I signed in New England in March of 2020 and was really excited. Like got a good contract and was going to play a lot. And I've always loved like Bill's defense. Like Bill Belichick has great defenses and. Like I was a nose guard, like Vince Wilfork was like the best fucking nose guard, for the Patriots, and he's had a bunch of good D linemen. So I was really excited. And then it's like I signed in there in March, and the NFL put travel bans on all the free agent signings that year. So like I couldn't get up to Foxborough to meet any teammates or kind of get the lay of the land or anything like that. And I wasn't able to travel up there until like July of 2020. And then like got situated and entered camp and then got injured like the first or maybe the second week of camp and got put on IR, which sucked because like you're so excited, you want to make a good impression, you sign with a new team, like working all off season, like through all the shit with COVID and all the different restrictions and gyms are shut down and you're still training, like getting ready for the season, so excited to show off for a new team. And then I got injured, I'm on IR, and it just felt like such a weird season, there's no fans in the stands, and
what was that like, dude? The first time you played in an empty stadium.
So I actually didn't even play. Like I was on IR, so I'm just watching from the like the stadium. They'll have suites for practice squad guys or guys on IR, and like I'm watching. It's bizarre, man. The most interesting thing during that year is like since there's no fans, like you can hear every single thing.
Oh yeah.
All the communication on the field. Crowd noise is obviously not an issue for teams offensively, and it was a weird year, man. So then I was really trying to fight back from this ankle injury that I had, and about halfway through the year, like they instituted this new rule where if you're on IR, and this is a rule that's now pretty common in the NFL, like it's stayed, but it was the first year during COVID year. If you're on IR, like there's a practice period where you can like work back to practice where they can like activate you off of IR, and then if you're healthy enough to play, like then they can activate you to the active roster. But I'd been activated for the practice part, and I wasn't healthy, and I ended up getting injured way worse, and so it's just like fuck, man. So yeah, my time in New England was not awesome, but that's kind of just how it goes, man. Like I said, injuries are a part of the game, and you always try to play through injuries when you're an athlete and shit like that. But unfortunately, it did not work out that well for me. But that's
so what was it like when you were a free agent, though? Was it Belichick calling you?
Yeah. You speak through your agent. Like there's restrictions put on communication between, coaches and players, basically. So, but yeah, I mean, one thing that was really fun for me that year is like, even though like I'm on IR, it's COVID year. It just felt like such a different year from any previous year because of all the different COVID stipulations. And so all I did really, like, since I'm not playing, I'm rehabbing, working out, and then just kind of like studied, that defense and that organization and obviously that head coach, and just try to learn as much as I could while I wasn't playing. It was, from that, kind of point of view, it was a very interesting opportunity to just kind of learn from like one of the best organizations in football.
And maybe the best defensive mind. I mean, you probably have way more knowledge on that than me, but from a fan standpoint, got to be top 3 defensive mind in history, right?
Right. I mean, he's, probably the greatest football head coach in the history of in the NFL. So, I mean, that's kind of all you can take from it when you're in the position that I was in, like on IR, not playing, like just try to learn as much as you can. So that was, I mean, that was
like
fun.
Nervous talking to him and shit?
What's
he like off? Like,
he's actually, I mean, what you see is what you get, but kind of the face that he puts on for media is not, how he is as a head coach. It's interesting because there's things, he's obviously incredibly detail-oriented, but there's some things that, like, on other teams I've been on that were, like, a very big deal that weren't necessarily a huge deal in New England. Like, for example, guys could wear whatever they wanted at practice, which I thought was really interesting because, like, I've been on teams before. Like, when I was in Philly, I was drafted by Chip Kelly, but, like, if you didn't wear, like, all the team issue gear or all the, the proper color cleats and stuff like that at practice, like you're going to catch a fine or something like that. And like Bill didn't give a shit about that, which I thought was really interesting because you expect him to kind of, I don't know.
That's not what I would have guessed at all.
Yeah. So
because
stuff like
he's
that.
just like, who cares? That doesn't affect like.
Just like, hey, players, like whatever you need to feel comfortable for practice and like to have your best day at practice, like do what you got to do.
That's crazy. I didn't know you were drafted by Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes, yeah.
Dude, you've played for some fucking, like, a lot of big name, like, crazy coaches.
Yeah.
Who was in Tampa when you were there?
So it was Dirk my first year, and then BA my second year. Yeah, and then Todd Bowles was the coordinator.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's probably, he's Hall of Famer too, right?
BA? I mean, I love BA. BA is, like, Bruce Arians is a really good head coach, but he's so different than Bill too, and it's always interesting when you go from different teams, or maybe you're on the same team but you have a coaching staff change, and just kind of how much things can change with a new coach, even amongst the same team. But like BA, for example, like we were kind of in and out. Like we didn't spend all day at the facility. Like we would come do our work and then we'd be done for the day by like 3 or 4 p.m., especially later in the year, which is so interesting. And then I go to New England and everyone's grinding at the facility like from like 5 a.m. to like 9 p.m. or like later, So it's just different at different organizations. Different head coaches do things different ways, and as a player you have to adjust. But the more time as a vet that you spend around different schemes and different coaches and different teams, like you just learn a lot, man, and you just figure out a different way to do things.
Yeah. And after you left there, like I know, and I'm sure that I have a billion friends there, like obviously, but like when TB12's there and there's all maybe the brightest media spotlight there could be when it's like him and Arians and all that.
Yeah.
When there's like, oh, this guy's redoing the game plans and there's like all this drama, like would you know what's true and what's not? Or how much would you like be seeing from afar and like understand?
Well, it's always fun to hit up your buddies on teams that like when you go to a different team or whatever and just kind of shoot the shit with them, gossip a little bit, and like figure out like what the fuck is actually going on. It's fun, and it's fun to, I don't know, get all the little inside information and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like when you went, I know you said it's a weird year, but like Tom Brady leaving the Patriots and then being there after, that had to be like a pretty crazy like power vacuum there, right?
Yeah, it was interesting.
You could feel it like when you were there, you're like, this has got to be different? Or
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I never experienced what it was like with Tom there at like, obviously, I played against the Patriots, a handful of times and stuff like that.
One important time as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we did like joint practices when I was in Philly. We did joint practices in Foxborough as well. So I can't really speak to what it was like at New England, like with Tom there. But I mean, you could definitely tell in 2020, like aside from all the different changes because of COVID and all that shit, they were doing things a different kind of way.
Yeah. Obviously, we've talked about different stops to your career, but 1 week or I guess 2 week period more than anything, obviously, forever will be the most notable thing just by the magnitude of the event. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is it like to play in the Super Bowl?
Dude, it's exhausting, honestly. Like, especially there's so many different distractions, especially playing in your home state, your home city. Like, I grew up like 20 minutes from Minneapolis.
Where at?
And I grew up in Minnetonka.
You got a shout out to Minnetonka as well.
Go bathe yourselves, yeah.
I think we've actually had, you know where Apple Valley is?
Yeah.
We have another, my boy was on the podcast from Apple Valley. So
nice.
There's
Minnesota connection. Shout out.
That's crazy. Anyway, so.
But yeah, there's just so much in like, dude, when you're, I mean, you know, I think at that point it was a 16 game regular season schedule. We had 4 preseason games, and you're getting to the playoffs, and then, you know, obviously the Super Bowl, I think it was the first week of February. You're physically exhausted, you're emotionally drained just from the ups and downs of the season, and then, you know, you get to the Super Bowl week, and there's just so much media hoopla, so much going on, and you're just like, hey guys, like, I got a fucking game I gotta play. Like,
yeah, like how much of that is even like about the game at that point?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was, but you have so many people coming out of the woodwork looking for tickets, and then, you know, different media events, and then different Super Bowl related obligations that you have as a player, and it's like, guys, I gotta fucking practice. You know, there's just so many different things to juggle, and your body's beat up at that point at the end of the year, you know, and you're just like, fuck, like, can we just get to the game already? Like, holy shit, I think it felt like the longest week of prep that I'd ever been to. And then, like, you win the game, blah, 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 and then it's awesome. You have the parade, and then the off season feels so short after that. That's no one ever, like, really talks about is when you're a Super Bowl team, like, your off season just gets shrunk down, especially if you're a free agent. Like I said, I left after, you know, the 2018 Super Bowl and signed in Tampa, and I was down here in like early March, you know what I mean? Damn. So it's like you feel like you have a 6-week off season, which is
even less, dude.
Yeah,
that's like 2 weeks between probably after the parade and like just still partying after the parade, and then like a week later you're
like,
free agent.
Oh fuck, like we got OTAs coming up fast, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. But so like when you're there though, and like a guy like you too, you like doing the media stuff, you have a personality, like a part of you had to be like, man, I want to capitalize on this like moment, but you're also trying to be focused.
It's a fine line to walk, man. Yeah, exactly what you said. You're trying to focus, you're trying to make sure you're ready for the game. You're trying to do everything you can to take care of your body because it's late in the year and you're beat up, you're exhausted. And trying to like follow your typical, you know, game week routines that you kind of get into over the course of the year, and it's just so much harder with all the distractions and stuff like that. So I mean, that's the biggest thing I'd say, man. People, like, whenever someone asks me like the Super Bowl or like the week leading up to it, it's like, dude, all I want to do is like, can we play this fucking game already? Like, can we get to Sunday and like play this damn game? Because like,
where were you staying at during it?
I can't remember the hotel, but you stay out at the Super Bowl site the week of.
Yeah.
So we were in Minneapolis. I can't even remember the hotel we were at, but
was it like how much of the noise? Like, are you right by the practice facility, or is it just to the bus?
We actually practiced at the Gophers.
No way.
Yeah. So we used their practice facility, and I went to Wisconsin, so like I'm not much of a Gopher fan, you know.
That had to be kind of weird, dude.
But so it was interesting, yeah.
Surprised they let you in there, dude.
Hey, yeah, they fucking banned me from that after we won the Paul Bunyan's Axe 4 years in a row when I was at Wisconsin.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, but Wisconsin does not have Paul Bunyan's Axe right now. We got that game coming up in November. It's a big one for us.
Need it back.
But no, I mean, that whole Super Bowl week, dude, is just... it's a whirlwind, man. And it's just exhausting. It's draining.
Is the magnitude of it like... can you even actually appreciate how like dude, everyone in the world, like say that they didn't block you and you had hit Tom Brady and like taken his head off and like crippled him, like you would have been the most famous. Like I'm just saying, like that could happen. Like does that get in your head of like this is the biggest thing I've ever done?
I mean, when you're in it, you kind of don't really think too much about it, you know, because it's like you have these moments like we ran out of the tunnel. You know, to Meek Mill, and like you're like, holy fuck, like this is awesome. And then you're like, okay, I gotta lock in. You know what I mean? And then once you kind of get a couple snaps under your belt during the game itself, you settle down. I think everything leading up to that is just a lot. And then once you're kind of playing the game itself, like, you know, but I can't even really remember the game that well.
Really?
Like, yeah, I'd actually never seen it on tape or
come on,
copy.
Dude.
Yeah, until
why?
I mean, you see, I don't know, like you know, when you play a game, typically, like, you'll have meetings the next day and you'll go over all the film, but after a Super Bowl, you kind of don't really do that, you know? So, like, I'd never seen it. until the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year, and I was staying at an Airbnb. Yeah. I went out there with like all the guys from the podcast, Greenlight podcast, and I like got to our Airbnb early and like turned on the TV, and like our Super Bowl game happened to be playing. I was like, oh fuck, like let's watch this. And that was the first time I'd seen the game.
Dude, how did like not one night in the summer or something you were never just like, oh, let me.
I just kind of had never watched it.
That's crazy, dude.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
So like, was the fact that obviously being like a nose tackle and being a defensive line, like you're the closest dude to Tom Brady, the greatest football player to ever live.
Yeah.
Like, was that in prep? Is that intimidating that you're like, holy fuck? Like, and it's not like that was his first Super Bowl. Like, this is your first time. It was what, his 9th at that point?
I don't even fucking
like
know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like, you kind of don't really think about it like that, man. It's you got to separate the I don't know, the people themselves from the position that they're playing. Kind of, I'm not sure. That's maybe not the best description of it, but like when you're playing, like you're not really thinking about the individuals that you're playing. You know what I mean? You're more thinking about like your job, your role, or like what you know, what you're being tasked to do on each specific play, and then.
But like in prep though, are you like, fuck, he's probably already thought of this or no? Because he's like him and Belichick are known for scheming like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know how they're gonna try to attack you defensively, and you kind of know, like, I don't know, like, you know, as a player, like different things that they'll try, or scheme wise, like different things they're gonna do, but you don't necessarily think of them as like individuals as much, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know the Philly special was coming before?
No idea.
You're just sitting there?
Yeah, no idea.
And then you're like, holy, like, did you know it was a
well, like, it's fourth down.
Play?
I was on the field goal team. I was like the block side and on field goal. So I'm like getting ready to run my ass on the field because I thought we were going to kick a field goal.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They're like, hey, stay, offense, stay. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, cool. We're going for it. And then, like, Philly special comes out, we score. It's like, oh, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
so,
you don't really.
You don't know. Like, the only people that know was Foles and the offense and Peterson.
Well, Nick requested that, that play. But yeah, I don't even think. I think some of the. I mean, I'll have to ask some of my boys, but I think even like some of the offensive players weren't necessarily expecting that play to actually come out, and then to have it, you know, obviously like such a huge play in that game and such a fun, memorable play. But like when you're in it, you're not really. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but
it's just chaos.
You're just kind of rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I've wondered too, like, you know, when they do like a fake punt or fake whatever, I'm like. Because I never look, obviously that's the point of it, but I almost wonder if they like went and videoed the coach after he called it, if he's like fucking nervous, or because like there's if you're just gonna punt, most of the time the coach is probably not paying as much attention as he is.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like there's like a poker face of it, you know?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, there's gamesmanship involved, but I think you put in these plays and you're never really sure. Like, I mean, teams put in trick plays every week. And you know, sometimes like they get used and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy, dude. Well, forever when you're an old man, you're gonna be a Super Bowl champion. Like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah, brother. It's a fun feeling.
Does it ever get older? Like, how often would you say you think about that?
Honestly, I kind of forget about it sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
you never
like I said, I don't really wear my
like,
Super Bowl ring out. Like, I don't know, I wear it once a year, and you're having a bad day sometimes, like, fuck yeah, I'm a champion, baby.
You're like, dude,
or like,
fuck it.
You see one of your buddies from the team that you haven't seen in a while. It's like, what's up, champ? But like,
yeah,
I don't know, kind of usually just going about my business.
Damn, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. So, anyways, getting into, I mean, I have a million football questions, but that's for another episode.
Hey, whatever you want to talk about, bro.
The real shit that matters in the NFL today. When I was watching your guys' podcast the other day, you were talking about it, and I think we somewhat disagreed. I was kind of on the Big Earn side of things on this. The Taylor Swift debacle that's currently going on. I guess debacle, I'm going to get canceled for even saying that. The Taylor Swift beautiful opportunity so that the Swifties don't come
love,
from.
man. All right? Just let these two beautiful young...
Think it's love?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Because your boy... So this is an interesting thing, too. You're like 1 degree of separation from Taylor Swift right now because Kelce's your boy.
Yeah, so I'm really good friends with Jason, and then gotten to know Travis through Jason and stuff like that. Now he's fucking everywhere. I can't even turn on the damn TV. He's in every commercial, bro.
Hey, dude, I don't know how they film these so fast.
Yeah, and then, you know, Kelce and Donna Kelce, like Jason's mom is in every, like, you got Chunky Campbell's Soups commercial.
Dude, Donna Kelce is a top 10 most famous NFL player right now.
I know.
Like, there's starting quarterbacks that are less famous than their mom.
Rightfully so, man. Donna's a real gem. You know,
so
she deserves it.
What's your forecast on you meeting Taylor Swift? Like, that's in the range of possibilities.
We'll see, man. I don't know. I'd like to meet her.
I mean, yeah, bro. Dude, if I was you, I'd be at every Chiefs game. Yo, Trav, dude, I'm in KC.
Yeah,
you here?
Put me in the box with Taylor and Brittany.
Dude, I saw my boy Jackson Mahomes was there last week. Dude, I was at a Mizzou game, and we were in this, like, box. I don't even know how we got in there. I was with some of my friends from the Blues. They got us in. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, yo, I think that's Jackson. Like, dude, because listen, I'm going to be straight up. And this is where I need your expertise because I feel like you're like I said, a Renaissance man that gets the cross section of football, social media, all these different things. I'm a Jackson Mahomes guy because I think that everyone hates him so much. But I think if you can just love the spectacle that is a guy TikToking on the field with no shame, he's dead serious.
I know. I'm not a fan. I'll just,
but like, why? Everyone hates him so much.
So it's hard to like shit on someone that you've never met. But like, I don't know. It's kind of cringy to me. That's. I'm not a TikTok guy, bro. Like, I'll fuck around on Instagram a lot. Like, people take themselves a little too seriously on social media, in my opinion. I like to fuck around a lot. You know.
But I feel like, all right, I'm just pleading his case because everyone, I posted a picture when I met him. I was like, shout out to my brother, Jackson Mahomes. Because I knew people were going to be mad.
Yeah.
Dude, I just was looking at it the other day because someone asked me. I have like 100 screenshots. Dude, how many replies do you get of a story? Like, not that many. Yeah. Dude, I have over 100 screenshots. I was scrolling through. Fuck this piece of shit. Unfollowing you. Fuck you. People were saying the meanest things I've ever been said to.
Yeah.
Because I posted a picture with him. I don't think people realize the heat lamp of hate that this guy gets. Yeah. And all I'm saying is this. I think people take it too serious. Dude, he loves TikTok, and he's a TikToking son of a bitch, dude.
I'm gonna hold judgment until I meet him. I've never met him. I don't know.
Dude, I did a TikTok with him.
You did?
He didn't post it on his thing, which killed me. He posted it on his friends. That kind of killed me.
Yeah, hit him up, man. Tell him you need that content, you know?
You know what was crazy? I've never told this story. This is I don't know, not that exclusive, but so I left Barstool under like, me and Dave were like in this beefing thing, and Dave's obviously a scary guy. Yeah, you don't want to beef with Dave, dude. And I was in his crosshairs, and when I left, there's a lot of obviously hoopla. So I meet Jackson Mahomes, and I was like, at that time, he was beefing with Dave, and like it's not like I have a ton of
friend
shit
or enemy. My enemy is my friend.
So it's not like I have a ton to talk about with Jackson Mahomes. Yeah. So I was like, yo, Jackson. I was like, believe it or not, bro, we're beefing with the same guy.
Yeah.
And this was the year that I left, and he goes, oh, you want to see my DMs with Dave? And I was like, I don't know. He starts showing me them, and I'm not going to say whatever. And then he goes, let's send a selfie to Dave and say, fuck you. I was like, no, Jackson.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
I was like, Jackson, whatever you do not do that. Because I don't want to beef with Dave at all, and I definitely don't want to be with Jackson clicked up against Dave.
You got double beef, bro.
I love Jackson. He's my boy, but I don't really want to go to war with him against Dave.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's a tough battle.
Yeah, that's a tough battle. I feel you.
But, dude, when I saw him, he was TikToking. Like, he does it for the love of the game. Like, I think people are
obsessed with TikTok.
He really is. Like,
I don't get it, man. But whatever. I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I didn't look, and I feel like I would have heard it if he did. But him and Taylor TikTok would be gas.
I'm sure he's pushing for that.
Oh, you know he was sniffing for it.
I'm sure he's ready, man.
I saw him in that clip when she's in the box. Yeah. I bet you he had that thing already loaded up.
He got the fastest phone in the West, man. He's ready.
Bro,
he's got a dance all scripted up, ready to go. He'll probably pull some friendship bracelets out of his pockets and put them on. And I don't know.
That's a come up, dude. You get Taylor in the TikTok, you're on a new level.
Yeah.
He needed that, dude. I'm rooting for. I'm just saying, I think people got to realize, like, it ain't that deep. He likes TikToking, dude. Like, I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
I'm just saying, for the amount of hate, I got to have his back. But anyways, the thing that we were talking about when you guys talked about on the podcast, because I was in the comment section.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Of the King and the Fax podcast comment section. I'm not an internet commenter.
But I like it. I know. I saw you on there.
Your pod drove me to be an internet commenter. Okay. That's when you know you have
Thanks for joining the conversation.
Dude, I had to, because this is how I feel. And now I get to tell you in real life, which is a blessing. So this is what I'll say. And then I want to hear, because you stated some stuff. I know Kelce's your boy, and I don't know him.
Yeah.
And let me say this first.
You think it's a media marriage?
Let me say this first. If I was Killer Trav, I would be doing the exact same thing. Matter of fact, if they break up and Taylor Swift hits my phone, I will do the exact same thing.
Same.
So I'm not And that's how, Taylor, I know you watch this podcast. Call me. I will answer. But all I'm saying is this. To me, it felt like, and I got to be careful because the Swifties are scary, bro. And
They're scary.
All right, let me do one more qualification. Then I'll stop doing it. In 2008, 2009, I was listening to Taylor Swift in Chesterfield, Missouri.
Good.
I used to listen to Breathe, and I can't breathe without you, but I have to. I was like crying in my room.
Let's go.
Fearless, every word. If any of these Swifties want to come after me, these girls were in diapers when I was listening to Taylor Swift. So let me just say that first. I've loved her for a long time.
Yeah.
To me, and I don't mean to disrespect Killer Trav, to me, she's the number one of all time. I thought she was above this, and it felt like she was a little bit pandering their honor every time. The NFL's pushing it so much. That's all I meant. When I'm in the comment section,
That's
felt
not on
a little
her, though,
contrived.
man. That's the NFL. The NFL is a cash machine, and the NFL knows when they have, a cash cow to milk it. And that's what Taylor Swift is. She's not the one, in my opinion, doing all this stuff. Let the girlie be in love, man. Travis is a great-looking guy.
She's just in love randomly?
One of the best tight ends of all time. Dude, she's a notorious lover, man,
It just feels slightly
in her lover
forced.
era. It's a love story. Just say yes.
Dude, all I'm saying, don't start doing that because I can't fight against that. That's in my era, dude. Love story, I was still a heavy Swiftie.
I love love. Let's just believe,
All I'm saying is, to me, it almost felt like she is the most popular person in the world, and she's like, what's the only platform that I haven't fully conquered? It's like meathead NFL fans.
She's conquered them all, though, man. Look, like, you love Taylor Swift. You're just singing the lyrics,
Dude, I know every lyric. The Fearless, dude. I'm telling you that album.
There's no fan base that she hasn't conquered, in my opinion. She's not out there trying to conquer anybody. She's just trying to fall in love and have a good little love story.
I'm just saying, on the Killer Trav side, too, there's no way that he can't be like, even say, all right, so let's do a scenario right now. And I hate to, I'm a huge love guy. I love so much.
Yeah, same.
I love love. Like, I love it when people are in love. All I'm saying is this. Say that Taylor's acting up, right? And then he's not liking it, but he's like, damn, this is kind of sick right now. Do you think he's going to be the same way as he would with a random girl? I think it's opportunistic. It's in his good faith to it just feels a little bit unnatural.
Feels a little forced, is all you're saying?
I think if I'm Killer Trav, I'm like, do whatever you want to do. This is the best thing for my life, my career.
I'm not as pessimistic. I think it's just two beautiful young people in love. And let's just leave it at that.
I don't want to be a hater because I'm fully admitting when I was sitting there in high school, I was in love with Taylor Swift. So
I think you're just a little jealous of Trav.
You think I'm coming from a place of jealousy?
I think your teenage heartthrob is with another man, and you can't accept it.
I will say this to his credit. So they got her at the game. The hype's there. The Swift dude, this guy's getting 1 million followers a day. This dude's caught more balls in the last however many weeks than I think ever.
He's playing great, man. Yeah,
like 13 catches.
Andy Reid even said something about it in a presser after the game last week. He said, "Taylor, stick around as long as you want." But dude, Travis is a fucking great player, man. He's one of the best tight ends of all time. He's playing really well. He's battling through injuries. He had some injuries earlier in the year.
Yeah,
hurt his knee, hurt his ankle a little bit. He's out there grinding.
Do you think Mahomes is force feeding him more because he wants Brittany and Taylor to become like? Do you think Brittany's like, yo, feed this guy?
I think they've all. I mean, the Chiefs don't have as many offensive weapons as they've had. I think that's part of it too. Like, I'm just speaking from a purely football perspective. I mean, I'd say there's probably something to that a little bit. Just feed the hype machine. But dude, like, you got to ride the hot hand, whether it's like someone who's playing well or someone who's. Dude, football is a game of emotions and confidence, and there is nobody that is more confident in the world right now than Trav. He's playing really well. He's in love,
Are you worried about him if things go south? Because if I'm a Chiefs player and say Taylor Swift has a change of heart, it's tough to go up from that.
Hey, it's all positivity coming from me, man. I think they're going to get married and have kids.
That would be wild, dude. I think I'm now a hater, and I'm scared, dude. I'm genuinely scared when this comes out. The Swifties are gonna find me and kill me.
I think it's a great thing. Just enjoy it,
I'm just saying we need to get Nate Collins on here too, because whatever he was saying, I remember being like.
Fax was going off on me for a month about that whole saga, dude. He still's in my ear about it.
I'm kind of surprised it's still going. I didn't know if they were just like she just came as they're like really dating.
Hey. Like I said, man, I love love.
One thing that my friend said that I think is underrated in this whole thing, Killer Trav. He's a known love guy as well. I think he had a dating show.
He did, yeah.
This guy
Catching Kelce.
Yeah, catching Kelce. This guy's been on the scene looking for love, which I support. I'm a love guy. But the thing I'm saying is, no matter what happens with this dude can get any girl in history from now on in the world.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but hopefully it doesn't come to that, you know?
You're towing the party line good. I'm saying Taylor Swift got abducted by aliens, but then her last message was...
He's going to go rescue her.
But then her last message was, don't wait for me, Travis, like, move on.
Yeah.
Any girl in the world after you date Taylor Swift, he's good forever.
I don't know who you move on from after that, but...
But every girl wants to be Taylor Swift's, like, I don't know if that's Eskimo sister. I don't know what they call that.
Yeah.
If they've done that. I'm not going to say it because she seems like a pure.
She's pure.
I don't want to put those words in her mouth, but I don't know, dude. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing to me.
I'm about it.
What's your favorite top 3 Taylor Swift albums?
Oh, that's tough, man. I'm in a little 1989
that's number 1?
kick right now. Yeah. I like Midnight's a lot. I think those 2 are my favorite. I mean, those are the fan faves too, I feel like. But
I can't respect. I would say Fearless one. I think Taylor Swift, like the first album.
OG?
With the blue, she was like her with the crazy blonde hair. I still have that CD in my truck.
Really?
In my F-150.
Having a bad day, just throw it in there?
Dude, I still have it. Doesn't really work anymore. But I'm just saying that's my. And then I would say maybe Red, dude.
Oh, I like Red too.
Is that too basic? I feel like
yeah.
I'm just not a new age. I'm not against it, but I just think she's so big now. You got these girls that only know Midnights and love her, and I just
like Midnights. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's vibey.
What's your first pick on there?
Ooh,
the one.
Ooh, what is it? Lavender Haze. I like Lavender Haze a lot. I also love Style.
Oh yeah,
that's obviously not on Midnights. I didn't know we were doing a T Swift pod today.
Bro, an NFL interview is a Taylor Swift interview now.
That's fucking true, dude.
Like
in today's era,
I would say top 10 most famous NFL players right now, like Taylor Swift and Donna Kelce are in there.
Yeah,
without a question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude. What you think we're talking about? Tyson Bagent or something? I'm just. I mean, shout out to him too. I love whenever like I play D3. Like I'd always look at guys that didn't play D1 and root for him.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I thought maybe I'd go to the NHL from D3.
There's a chance.
There is still a chance for me.
One of my good buddies, Ali Marpet, D3 superstar for the Bucks, Super Bowl champion as well.
It can happen.
It can happen.
How? To be fair though, like when he first came to the Bucks, do you think he was like, what? Like, there's no way that difference in speed isn't insane.
No, and I've actually asked him about that. I mean, the interesting thing too is like he was a pretty high draft pick, like second round. As a D3 player. He's the highest.
He must have been fucking people up in D3.
Oh, yeah. It was fun to turn on his college highlights. Because, like, physically, no offense, D3 football players, but, like, it's not the same caliber of, athleticism and size as, D1. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not even mean. It's just that's just how it works. I mean, I think any D3 player, like, probably knows that or else they'd be playing D1.
Yeah, and there's always an adjustment period going, from college to the NFL, and I think for him it was just a little bit extra. I've asked him that very same question a couple different times, and I mean, it definitely head was spinning a little bit his rookie year.
I'm just sure
trying to deal with these fucking NFL.
Dude, even going from Wisconsin to the NFL had to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, like I said, a defensive lineman. We had really good offensive linemen at Wisconsin when I was there. So like a lot of the guys that I practiced against every day for 4 years ended up being, playing on Sundays and guys I'd play against on different teams. So I think that really helped me, but just the level of competition is obviously a step up from college. It's
the best dude, like on every team is now who you're playing. Like,
yeah.
Because like one thing why I stopped being good is like in high school, and I'll admit this, I'd see the D pair that had the guys who couldn't skate. I'd be like, all right, wait, like we'll go against them, and I'd score against those because like I'm trying to score. Then you get to college, and I was like, fuck, every dude is good.
Yeah.
And that's at D3. Then you get it like the one guy out of your conference is going after that, and it's like that's why the NFL is just crazy. Like you see some dudes that are in the league for 3 years, and already there's the newest generation's better than they were 3 years ago.
You're always going against the elite competition, man. You can't take a single play off,
It's just wild. Our school, I think we won one game for football.
Oh, really?
I played in Appleton, Wisconsin. You know where that is?
Yeah.
It's near Madison.
Yep.
But, dude, our team was so bad. No offense. I don't mean to just be dogging them like this.
You can't dog your old team, man.
Dude, they know, dude. Like, so the team was so bad, the football coach came to one of our hockey meetings and was like, do any of you guys want to play, like, safety or something?
Bro, you should have done it.
Bro, I'm not built for, I should have.
You should have. It'd be fun.
Honestly, I should have.
There's actually some good D3 football in Wisconsin.
Whitewater?
Yeah, exactly.
And who else, dude? They'd get shit on by this one team, dude.
I gotta look because there's like 3 or 4 programs D3.
St. Norbert's pretty good too.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, we had it was tough, dude. And this is when I knew. I was like, one time it was a Friday night, and I'm sure this happens at D1 too. But I was at this like party, and I see this kid. I'm like, oh, bro, like, he's like, what's up? I'm on the football team. I'm like, oh, that's sick, dude. I gotta come to one of your games. Like, yo, bro, come out tomorrow. It's at like 1. I'm like, bro, what? Like, I thought you guys were off this week. This dude's faded out of his mind.
That's
it's 2 a.m.
funny as hell.
And then he's like, oh, bro, we lose every game anyways. I'm like, all right.
He probably wasn't playing.
Dude, I'm not going to say one time, dude. This is fucked up. I shouldn't even say the story. So we went at Barstool. We had this, like, tour thing. And it was like they were doing a college football show with Dave and all them. And it got canceled or something. I forgot what happened. But the sponsorship was sold through the football season. So it's like me, Frankie Borelli, Glenny Balls, who's now like big time. Glenny Balls is now like, I don't know, he does like an OnlyFans show.
The come up, bro.
Dude, the come up. Anyways, it was him, and we had this guy, office manager. They gave us an RV. It's the 4 of us.
Oh, sick.
Dude, we had the biggest RV I've ever seen. And our job was to go to these colleges. We went to Penn State, which I'd never been to a tailgate like that.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
Also
all
fun.
these fucking Alabama, we went to all these schools. And there, dude, I was like on the field. Like, we're not during the game.
Right.
But they let us like fucking play. Then on the game, we're like on the sidelines. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And one of the night before, these guys are like, I don't want to say where, but this kid's like, yo, come to this house party. Because, like, dude, they'd take care of us.
Yeah.
And this dude was like doing, I'm not a narc, but he was doing some shit. He's like, oh, he's a backup quarterback. And their quarterback at that time was good.
Yeah.
Really good. I'll tell you that, but whatever. He's like fucked up. So the next day, we're like, damn, I can't believe that guy was partying. They're like, dude, whatever. Like, it's college. Like, he's back up. On my life, we're on the sidelines the next day, dude. They're playing Texas, dude. Like a big school.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I can't believe I'm watching Texas from. Dude, also, when you're a normal person and you see that, you hear it, the sounds I've never heard from me to you, it's fucking
just
scary,
the collisions.
Bro. Every play.
Yeah.
Like a run play, dude. The running back's helmet hitting like
it's like a
crazy.
fucking car crash, man.
It's like scary.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, dude, it was like the first quarter, like had to be the second series. Their quarterback gets fucked up, and we're all standing there, and we're like, dude, no, man. And
my guy's on the sideline.
And he goes in, dude.
How'd he play?
They didn't get blown out, but I'm pretty sure they lost. But he like threw a couple picks. Dude, I've never seen anything like it. This dude gets fucked up on the second play, and we were like, oh my God.
That's hilarious.
And even you're looking at him like, when you were at Wisconsin, like how much is that, like the student athlete portion, how much does that weigh in?
I mean, like I don't know, man. Like when you're a fucking, like when I was at Wisconsin, I'll be honest with you, my priority was football, you know?
Yeah.
And I was in the business school of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a pretty prestigious business school, but like, bro, I got my degree 12 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I took minimum credit requirements and everything like that. And my priority was always football, but like, I don't know, man. We never really went out that much during the season because like our practices were so physical and like, dude, like if you come in there hungover, like you're just in for a bad time. Maybe during like bowl prep and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know,
but not even, you guys practice Sundays?
You kind of go like Saturday night after a win is when you go out. So like you almost get conditioned to just go out one big night a week.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine going out like as a defensive lineman, man. I couldn't imagine going out and then like rolling into practice the next day.
You're just gonna get bagged.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, in the NFL, like we go out on Thursday nights and shit. We do like a D-line dinner, a defensive dinner. Go out, like have a couple drinks. Every now and then, like you fucking really go out. Like this is funny. There was one time we were playing in Philly and we were supposed to play in Washington. And we were at this defensive dinner. I don't know if I've ever told this story. I got to remember some of the details. But we would do these defensive dinners, like these fancy dinners, hang out with all the guys. And I got word from our team captain, D'Amico Ryans.
Now a head coach.
Fucking unbelievable guy. And a couple of the other guys like Connor Barwin. And like these are like the vets of the team. Like they know what the fuck is going on. Meek's on the phone a bunch, and we're like, dude, what's going on? There's a hurricane or something like that, like some really bad weather going up the East Coast. And they're like, yeah, the game's going to be canceled, guys. Like, they're going to have to move it to our bye week. We're swapping bye weeks. So, like, you know, like, be smart tonight, but, like, the game, like, we're not playing on Sunday. And we're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, end up going out.
In Washington, in D.C.?
No, in Philly.
Oh.
This was on, like, a Thursday, so you don't travel till Saturday. And I think we had Chip at the time, so we did this thing called Fast Friday. Pretty, like, quick, explosive practice. Like, you're not kind of banging, pads and stuff like that. You're just going through different scenarios or whatever. And we ended up going out, and you wake up the next day, and surprise, like, the game's actually on. Like, we got to show it to practice. Like, we're actually going to practice, like, because they had canceled practice and then uncanceled it. And so we're all rolling into the building like, holy fuck, man. Like, what the fuck to me? Like, bad intel.
Did he go out?
No, he's not like that.
You're like, bro, thanks, dude. Like, he's like smoking you guys. Like,
it was just one of these things where we're like, all right, fuck it. Like, I guess we're practicing now. Like, holy shit. And
they call that playing guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a funny little story. Like, I don't think there are any like severe consequences.
Did it affect you? Like, because sometimes when I'm hungover now, I mean, I'm old now, but like 2 days later, I'll still be tired.
I mean,
like,
thankfully, I was in the prime of my youth, and I think it was like my second year in the league. I got to go look up the circumstances around this. It's all a little, a little fuzzy. Like I said, I got to go look it up, man. It wasn't like it was everyone on the team. It was just like me and a couple guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was probably like 10 guys, but we had a fun night. But yeah, I got to go look that up because I haven't thought about that in a long time. But I would never, I wasn't one of those guys that could, go out. Because the way I drink, bro,
oh, yeah.
I can't go out and then, roll out of bed and, go have a successful practice. I'm not built like that, dude.
I don't know if he'd be mad at me saying this or not mad, but, the big rig, he's unaffected. This guy can drink, he'll be fine. I'll be crippled for 2 days, and he's impervious to being affected by it.
I went to New Orleans a month ago and I'm still hungover.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's my first time in New Orleans. I'm still hungover.
Yo, but some guys can do it and some guys can't. But some guys legitimately, I'm not gonna name, and it's not Pat, but I know dudes that'll be annihilated. One dude when I lived in New York City, they were playing the Rangers, and Rangers play a lot of matinee day games.
Oh yeah.
This dude was out with us till 3 a.m. So that's 7 hours before whatever. I'm not a math guy.
Yeah.
I didn't go back. Well, I guess he was fine. Dude, I hate to say this. Man. Dude, this is the most fucked up. This one guy, he was a goalie. He came to my birthday party at Bounce in New York City. Came to my birthday and was starting the next day. I never told him this either. So a bunch of my boys are degenerate gamblers, and they were at my birthday with me. He's like, yo, we're laying heavy money. I don't want to say who they're playing, but we bet against them, and he won, dude.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you guys.
Dude,
don't bet against your boy.
Dude, that's just smart money. We were tanked, and he was starting.
Good for him, man.
Goalie's hard to play, dude.
I get it. I could never do that.
I don't understand it either, but I can't even play men's league when I'm hungover, dude, let alone the NHL.
I hear you.
So, did you guys have Monty Ball when you were at Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
St. Louis boy.
Yep, exactly. Fucking
who else was there?
Back. Dude, we had some really good teams in Wisconsin, man.
Aberdaris?
Yeah, I was there with Russell. So when I was there, we went to
Russell Wilson?
Yes, sir.
No way, dude.
Yeah, that was my sophomore year. That was the best college team I've ever been a part of. We ended up losing in the Rose Bowl to the Ducks, Oregon Ducks, with Chip Kelly.
No way.
But we had an unbelievable team that year. Really, really good offense with Russell and Monty and dude.
Yeah.
We were we should have fucking won that game. That's the one that still bothers me. But we couldn't handle Oregon and just the way they spread us out. It was two very opposing teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were physical and big, and
Big
they were
10 football.
Yeah, and they were fast and hurry up, up speed, up tempo the whole game. But yeah, man, we had some great teams in college. I love my time at Wisconsin.
Dude, was that the year when I went to school in Wisconsin and all my friends were obviously Badger fans?
Hell yeah.
When was the Hail Mary that Aberdaris
that was against Michigan State. Yeah, that was that year. So that was Kirk and Sparty.
Yeah.
So we lost to them in East Lansing on a Hail Mary, and then we ended up beating Michigan State in the Big Ten Championship to go to that Rose Bowl game again that we lost to Oregon. Yeah. So
did they have who's that? What's his name? The running back. Wasn't he on Michigan State then too?
Yeah.
He was nasty there.
Yeah, good player.
Dude, I feel like, I'm just biased because that was my, like, era of, like, watching it as much. But I feel like those teams were just so legendary back then, dude.
It was fun, man. It was a fun time to play football in the Big Ten. And like I said, man, we had some good teams at Wisconsin, too. And I love those guys. Like, I love all those guys. I'm excited because I'm going back to a Badger football game.
The Minnesota one? Or which one?
No, actually, that's in Minnesota. I'm going back.
You're scared to go
bro,
back?
I'm not going to fucking TCF. Fuck that. I'm not going to TCF Bank Stadium.
You hate those guys?
Fuck that. I'm going to watch that shit at home. It's right around Thanksgiving usually. So, like, go home and, my mom will make some great food and chill by the fire and watch that. But I'm going back to Madison for the game against Nebraska.
Oh, that should be a
mid-November. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So.
What's your take on Jordan Love as a Packers fan?
Just give him some time. I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be all right. The NFC North right now, it's a little sus. The Lions, I think, are clearly the best team in that division.
I can't believe how they got ramshackled the other day.
I know, that was surprising.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all. Like, they got fucked up.
Right. Dude. Yeah. Surprising. The Lions had a big win down here in Tampa.
Yeah.
As well.
The fans are dude, it was like a home game down there.
I know.
I saw more Lions fans than I've ever seen in my life.
That's kind of how it happens at Ray J.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. Living in Tampa, I feel like I see more Bills fans and Giants fans than any type of fans, including Bucks.
A lot of people from the East Coast moving down to Tampa.
Yeah, but don't you kind of think that like it's like a Bucks town, but it's also whoever they're playing, you know?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I agree.
Was that weird when you played here?
A little bit. I mean, especially coming from Philly with the Eagles fans at the link. I mean, it's sad to say, but you get used to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a bummer when you feel like these teams that travel really well and they're really filling up your stadium. It should be your home stadium. And you're like, what the fuck, guys? Like, come on.
Is that frustrating?
A little bit. But obviously, like that, I mean, the Bucks turned that around when Tom came down here and won the Super Bowl. And,
quickly, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So that's interesting. When you're doing this podcast every week and stuff, right? Like you're obviously watching it, tuned in.
Yeah.
Do you have a pretty good grip on like who you think's gonna win and stuff, or is it still shocking?
Well, it's really funny. So the podcast that I'm doing right now, Fax And The King, check it out. We release every Wednesdays. It's awesome.
Check it out.
We're focused more on college football, but like I said, I bully Cam Brate into coming on, and he does a parlay. We do like a Fax and King parlay.
Yeah.
And we're shitting on him because he's like literally like 2 for 20. Like,
so even
his picks are so bad.
And he knows every team like that. Like it's like
well,
he's played.
The NFL is different. Like the NFL is truly my love. With college football is a lot more. You really don't know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. Like, don't get me wrong, you have the really good teams, and you have mismatches every week where it's obvious, but like, I guess that's the beauty of gambling, man. Like, you never know how some of these
beauty or the curse for some people too.
Exactly.
I have some friends that would not say it's so beautiful that have lost a lot of money.
You never know what you're gonna get, man.
Yeah. Okay, so as a player who's played in college, played in the NFL,
yep.
When you see what's going on with like Colorado and Coach Prime, as a player standpoint, would that be where you want to go right now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not me specifically, but it's just so different with the transfer portal rules now and the NIL than it's kind of hard to grasp for me. You know what I mean? Like, I understand what you're asking. It's fun to go to exciting places that are in the media spotlight and kind of, maybe try to create like a super team or whatever. But I'm always partial to, I don't know, man. It's hard because that wasn't really even an option. Like, you couldn't, when I was in college, you couldn't get paid for anything. And so, like, the concept of going to a team to maybe get some NIL money, like, it didn't exist.
Right.
You get what I mean? So, and then, like, if you did transfer to a team, you had to sit out a year and lose a year of eligibility before you could play. So it really was like a last-case scenario kind of deal. And so the thought of transferring to a different team, it feels like free agency almost.
It's kind of gross. To me, I'm not a huge college football fan. And the way that works, it almost is like makes it less appealing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love like I said, I love my time at Wisconsin. I'm like obviously very partial to, the Wisconsin Badgers and I had such a good experience there. I'm like a big time homer. So the thought of like leaving Wisconsin to go to a different team to kind of chase a good team or media, it just feels a little disloyal to me, but
and cheap kind of, because like a commitment now means nothing.
Yeah, but
if you commit somewhere, it's for not even the full. Some of these guys leave halfway through the season. It feels
but then I mean, it is different because maybe you go to a team and they get a new coaching staff, and then you won't. You're not a scheme fit anymore, and you want to go to a team where you can play. So I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth. I guess what I'm saying is like, it's hard for me to even address what I would do in that situation because it was never an option when I was in college. I think. Speaking specifically about like Colorado and Coach Prime, and I can understand why teams would want to go to a swaggy team that's
got offset on the sidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sick, dude.
And the
Little Wayne walking you out, like that's kind of sick.
The opportunity to make some NIL money, and I think I can understand the appeal of that. I just personally don't think I would have done that. So
But a different element of it too. Obviously, people like Shador and like Travis Hunter, but like Coach Prime as a story. Is that kind of like off-putting as a player when like, and I know he doesn't want to be like that.
Yeah.
And I love Deion. Shout out to Deion. Follows me on Twitter. I don't know if I kind of want to fucking when I worked
Get
at
him
Barstool,
on the pod, bro.
Dude, when I worked at Barstool, we were supposed to do a fishing video together.
Oh, fun.
And he was like, I'm down. And it just never happened. And he was still popping back then.
Right.
But now I'm like, damn, bro, I wish I had a video with Coach Prime.
He's so good at, just like his media, his presence in general.
He's a genius.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but then his media presence and the way he captures these different storylines that.
But would that intimidate you as a player when he's such a big personality?
I don't think so because he's someone that's backed it up completely. Like he's an unbelievable football player, and just the opportunity to learn from a legend like that, I think is always, when you're a football player, you want to surround yourself with other great football players, especially someone that you can learn from as a coach. So I mean, I don't think it'd necessarily be intimidating. I can understand the draw or why different players want to go there. It's just. I don't know. It's interesting. I like Colorado. I wish them success. They do need some offensive and defensive linemen. I'll tell you that.
They do, man. Dude, I'm back there watching Shador run for his life.
He's like the most sacked quarterback in the NCAA or something like that.
And it could be more. If you watch those games, it could be more.
Yeah.
Like he gets away from some. Like it's out of 3 downs, it's 2 a lot of times. He's getting chased around.
Right.
It's crazy. What's your thoughts? The whole Michigan sign stealing thing.
Yeah.
Or some people are saying everyone does it, like to the degree that they did it.
Yeah.
Having a guy go places, and now they're saying he had it for multiple sidelines and other employees that he's doing. What's your thoughts on that?
We talked about that on Fax And The King this week. I don't give a fuck about it, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, man.
You think every team's doing it?
To a certain extent. I mean, dude, like as a player, bro, I was a nose guard. I was the closest guy to the ball. I could hear the center is usually who makes the offensive line calls. You're always trying to pick up different calls and throughout the course of a game, even sometimes you pull up the media copy of a team playing and you're trying to hear their different checks and stuff like that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And
you hit up your boy who used to play for okay, let's say we're playing the Bucks. You know what I mean? I used to play for the Bucks. I'm going to give as much information as I can, everything I know to the current team to help,
But is it applicable?
Sometimes it's not. I mean, I think it actually was Prime that said at the end of the day, you can have all this fucking information, but you still need to go out there and execute. You know what I mean? So, I think it's obviously a huge story and it's being blown up, and I think there's going to be repercussions for Michigan. But for me, I'm fucking not bothered by it. I don't know why it is exactly. It doesn't really faze me, and I said every team's doing it. Every team's not doing it to the same extent that Michigan has, and
because of resources or what?
Yeah, partially. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, that's just not a priority for some teams.
So you think though, if is it a
dude?
what would be the most helpful?
There will be
snap
times.
Count?
No, I mean, not. I mean, yeah, that's helpful, but you can fucking jump the snap count and still have a fucking horrible rep. You know what I mean? Dude, I'd say. My time in the NFL, especially the more you play, the more familiar you get with different teams and schemes, 75% of the time, you know what's coming at you. You know if it's a run play, you know which run it is, just based off formation and which players they have at different parts and schematically what teams like to run, how they're going to attack you. Dude, I can be lined up across from a guy or 2 offensive linemen. I can know a double team's coming. I can know in my soul to 100% certainty, hey, these motherfuckers are going to double team me. and I can still get my fucking dick knocked off, you know what I mean, and get blown the fuck up because I had a poor rep or like I missed my hand, like I missed my strike or whatever like that. Like you still need to be able to execute.
Is the strike, that's like your first hand movement?
Just like, yeah. So I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm not super bothered by the Michigan stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how this affects like Michigan's season coming down into playoffs.
I mean, people are trying to get them kicked out. You think that's like of the playoff?
Let them play, man. I don't know. Like they're still a great team. I think.
You think so? Because I kind of feel like they were ranked highly and they've blown out a lot of like unranked, like no.
Yeah.
Like when it comes
they've
to
got a big rivalry game coming up against Ohio State. That's obviously going to be a big indicator. I think maybe I'm being a little blasé about this whole thing. Like it just doesn't really bother me that much. I don't know why exactly it is, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What do you think of Harbaugh saying he had no knowledge of it?
Yeah.
That's curious.
I think that's curious. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. That's very curious.
I love when when head coaches of stuff have all the credit and have an institutional like overhaul and then they don't know stuff. And then there's the pictures of that guy, the analyst guy standing next to him every single play. Yeah, that's
pretty
interesting.
Funny. Very curious.
This guy must be smart. He's just guessing, and Harbaugh just believes him.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I did see one stat, and I don't know if this is true, but it was like from when he supposedly started doing it, they were like 66-4 or something.
Yeah.
And before that, they were.
I saw that same stat. I can't remember the exact numbers, but
that would lead me to think it is making a difference. But
I don't know, man. I mean. Yeah.
So in college, so just for people that don't understand, in college they don't have the headset, so they have to look at the sideline. That's why it would be more meaningful.
Right, or like do the check with me, it's called, where basically, you know, actually, so a check with me is basically like your offensive line will go, or your offense will kind of get set, do like a false snap count, read, see what coverage the defense in, look to the sideline, and then maybe the staff on the sideline will call in a wristband, a different play for the quarterback to kind of check the offense into. But defensively, you can do the same thing. So like when I was in college, whenever teams would do that check with me, we'd do the same shit on defense. Like we'd look to the sideline and we'd get sometimes a different play call too. But yeah, they don't have the green dot like they do in the NFL, where the offensive coordinator is literally speaking to the quarterback or like the Mike linebacker or whatever on defense. But yeah, I mean, also like you see a lot of teams with the signs, literally with the signs.
Yeah, what is that?
That's just a play call.
What the fuck does that shit mean? If it's like it looks like a picture of me, you, Freddy Krueger, and like a table.
Here's the secret, man. Sometimes those plays don't mean shit. Sometimes it's just smoke and mirrors. So like
just holding up all that stuff for nothing.
Yeah, for reasons like Michigan, you know.
What does it mean though if it does mean something?
It'll be a play call, or like Chip used to do this a lot when they were at Oregon because they're running like up tempo. They hold up like a card with like 4 different things on it, but like you change which one is the actual play each week. You know what I mean?
But like
so
there's how are these kids that are 19 years old? There's like I saw the other day. There's a picture of like Kobe Bryant. Like how do they know they're memorizing that?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes into it, man. There's a lot of different, deception and then gamesmanship, but then, communication is like one of the most important aspects of football that obviously this whole scandal is kind of centered around. And there's a lot of shit going on, man.
That's crazy. All right, I need to change the batteries on this, or do you want to just wrap it up?
I gotta get on a call here at 3:30. Yeah.
Okay, well, Fax And The King, we appreciate having. How'd you guys get those names?
So one of my this nickname is the Butter King.
Okay.
It's a really long story, but basically it's like a self-proclaimed title that I like really like. Kind of became a bit, and then it's like kind of not a bit now. It's just a lifestyle. But this is the Butter King, baby. And then Nate goes by Dr. Fax, so together Fax And The King. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be. There's a lot of good discussion. I'm happy to come on the pod anytime you want to chop it up. It's a lot of fun.
I love. There's so many things because like the NFL is the easiest sport to be a casual fan of.
Yeah.
But like you said, like even dude, I watch it. I read about it. I watch it all the shit, and I still don't know anything. You know what I mean? It's a very complex. Like unless you've played it, I think there's a high barrier to entry as far as understanding.
Yeah. And anytime you want to chop it up about football, man, you know where to find me.
All right, well, thank you. the biggest guest we've ever had. Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll
Until you get beat on.
Now we'll do let's do a reveal now after you see the chairs. Oh fuck.
Still got it.